everybody. I'm Ethan.
I'm Jamie.
And we are Bloody Essentials. Today, Nina will not be with us. She has taken the day off to do some things with some family. So, Nina, we miss you. We love you. Have fun and hurry back. Jamie, it's great to have you back. We missed you on your little sabbatical. But as we can see, your smiling, beautiful face is here now. So you've got the two of us to deal with. We just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for tuning in, for listening, subscribing, liking. A big shout out to our Patreons, Rick Polton and Swift. We appreciate you guys more than you know. If you guys would like to be a Patreon member and get shout outs and little goodies from the Bloody Essentials cast, go ahead to our link tree. What is Patreon? Basically, you're saying, hey, we like your podcast. We're going to go ahead and support you. So you can give anything from $1 up to $30, $40, anything that you want. The more you give, there's little perks that we have. There's personalized stuff from us, as well as other horror goodies. So we'd appreciate it. And let us know in the comments anything that also helps us. Tell your friends. Today we are having horror, indie horror producer, director, and the star of the 2024 movie, The Cellar. Welcome,
Hi.
Meghan. Welcome, Jamie. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good.
Good. Jamie, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are? And after that, Meghan, tell us who you are and what you had to do with this movie.
My name's Jamie, from England. And I produced and wrote and directed The Cellar. So I've been an actor for about 20 years. And over the past couple of years, I've gotten more into directing films and producing films, which leads me to where I am now.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Meghan Adara. I am the lead of The Cellar. I play Abigail. I've been acting since around the age of 8. Know Jamie, so that's how I got into the film. Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to talk The Cellar. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was really interesting. It was beautifully shot. It combines all these great elements of horror I love. It's like survival horror. It's also psychological, and it's touching on, the human story of facing personal demons. But let's start by getting to know you guys a little bit. Would you guys consider yourself horror fans, and what kind of got you into the genre?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it was watching The Exorcist when I was probably about 10 years old. And, it scared the hell out of me, and it's just sort of stuck with me. And so watching that film was being scared. I like being scared,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more of like a drama fan. And when I was growing up, I used to watch lots of like drama, like TV series. And then I started getting into horror films at an age I shouldn't have been watching horror films. I was snuck into a horror film at the age of 12, not 8. That's too young. 12. My love for horror started there. But yeah, I think my thing has always been drama. But I think maybe in England, especially with the indie horror, thing over here, it's a massive thing. So there's a lot of horror. Like there's typically more like drama horror over here rather than just drama. So yeah, that's how I got into. And then obviously Jamie was like the first person who like cast me in my lead horror film. So yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have a favorite horror film?
It's always a hard one.
It's not my favorite in terms of the character, but I guess it. I remember going to the cinema and literally shitting my pants and not being able to sleep for like at least a year, probably after.
Yeah.
Just terrified me. Yeah.
Okay, Meghan, you're obviously young, so I'm assuming you're talking about the 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm only 25, so yeah.
Oh my God, you're a baby.
Yeah, see, when I think of it, I think of the like 93 version.
Right.
I'm
Oh,
kind of
you're
showing my age a little
Yeah,
bit.
me too.
I wasn't around. I wasn't born.
What about you, Jamie? Do you have a favorite?
Crikey. I mean, I'd put The Exorcist right up there. My favorite film of all time, which kind of, I mean, it's got horror elements, but it isn't like I wouldn't say it's a horror film, is The Crow. Again from 93.
Okay.
So yeah, that, I mean, it's got horror elements, of course, but it isn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's so much a horror, but in terms of horror, probably The Exorcist would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty unanimous for Bloody Essentials that The Crow would be considered horror.
Oh yeah, it's got enough elements for sure.
Yeah. It's very horror adjacent, if not definitely
Yeah,
horror. So.
it's definitely got a horror feel to it. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. And I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey into filmmaking. I know that you guys have worked together before, but tell me what got you started in filmmaking and acting, both of you.
Crikey. Yeah, for me, I was like, I think like 16. I was just sort of on this course. It was sort of like a team building course, and we were given this task to put on like a show, and it kind of stemmed from there, really. It was the first time I'd sort of really kind of taken it seriously. And then, then I went to drama school, come out of there and done a whole bunch of like, indie films, a lot of indie horror films, and I just kept going and just didn't really get to where I wanted to be as an actor. So I thought, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm just going to make my own film now,
Are there any indie horror films that you were in that you would like to shout out and tell us to go watch you act in?
Okay.
Bloody Perfect. That's
What?
not out.
What film? What film?
The one where we play husband and wife.
Oh God, that.
Bloody Perfect?
Yeah.
It's not out though.
It's not out, but yeah. I mean,
when will Bloody Perfect be out?
Never, which is a shame because it was really good. But the age difference was a bit of I mean, at the time, I think I was like 23. I don't know how old you are, but yeah, it was like cool sheet. And then we turned up, and I saw Jamie, and I was like, "You're not playing the husband." He was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Ah, cool."
Yeah, it was like a short film we did like maybe like 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
But I mean, it turned out all right. There's some sound issues in that film. But yeah, and when you're working on like indie films and you act in them, and all sorts of issues come up with like technical issues, and when it gets to the point when you've worked on so many indie films, and there's each one has their own sort of issue, it gets to the point when you just sort of want to take matters into your own hands and think, you know what, let me have a go at this, let me see what I can do, let's have a stab at this. But do I want to shout out any films? A Prelude to Fear is a film I was in. That's on Tubi, I think, or Amazon, or it's somewhere. It's on a whole bunch of platforms. But that one, I think. The Caller, me and Meghan was both in The Caller.
He kills me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Spoiler right there, yeah. That's quite a good film. It's got Eric Roberts in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And Meghan, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
So I was always like I was always a bit of like a drama queen growing up. I had some like health issues when I was younger, so I think I got like oppressed into this like thing, and then I just, once my health problems were over, I was just like, I'm here, let's do something fun. So I always put like little like shows on with my friends, like dance to Michael Jackson with my cousin at my nana's. She has a dining room and then her conservatory, and she has a curtain going from those rooms. They're separated by a curtain, so they'd all be sitting in the dining area, and then once the show started, it was like, you know, the curtain lifted like in a proper, you know, I had the whole shebang going on. Yeah, so I started off doing acting then, and then my friend dragged me to a theatre group, and I was always really shy, so it was like my friends know I liked to perform, but it wasn't like I did performing to like anyone else apart from family and friends, because I didn't want to be judged. So she like dragged me along, and I just really liked it. And then from there, I did GCSE drama at school, went to college, did acting at Northbrook College, which is featured in the new R.I.P. Man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then went to East 15 acting school, which is a drama school, and met Jamie once I left, getting into the you know, the industry, a bit more networking, worked on short films, and yeah, went from there really.
Okay.
You know, when you said your friend dragged you to
Yes,
the drama
yeah,
group,
she drugged me.
I thought you said drugged you.
Oh no, no,
Go to that drama.
no, it's not that sort of friend, and I was only 8, so yeah, maybe a bit too young.
So let me ask you
Awesome.
this, Jamie. Well, both of you, but Jamie, you wrote this. So how'd you come up with the idea for this film? What was the inspiration? Did you draw from life experiences, or what's going on there?
Pretty much. I mean, I was speaking to someone a while ago, and you know, I went to Venice like years ago, and I was speaking to someone about the Cellar, and then I was speaking to them about, you know, being in Venice and being similar to, you know, the alleyways that you walk through when you're kind of in Venice. And they actually kind of thought, oh, you know, maybe the idea came from when you're in Venice. I was thinking, you know what, maybe it did subconsciously, because with the Venetian masks in there as well, you know, and the corridors and everything, it's pretty similar. I don't know if you guys have been to Venice at all.
I haven't.
I have not yet. It's on my bucket list.
It's, I mean, at night it's a really kind of scary place when you go off the beaten track a little bit and you're kind of on your own, just in these dark alleyways and canals. And then you kind of come across these shops with, like, you know, all these kind of creepy masks in. So I think maybe subconsciously it came way back from like 2012 or whenever. There. But yeah, but more recently it was basically I was acting in another little short concept film, and one of the locations in that film we used for the Cellar, because I guess I took a lot of inspiration from the location when I was working as an actor on a film, and yeah, I kind of wrote a little script around the location basically.
Love that. That makes a lot of sense, because the location is such a pivotal part of the story. And like, what was it kind of like working in that environment for both of you? Because it gives like this kind of sense of claustrophobia a little bit. What was it actually like being in that and working in that environment?
Scary. There was a few times when there was like different parts to this location. Not the same location that Jamie's like talking about, but one of the first ones. And I was left on my own in this dark, dingy, like tunnel way, and everybody had gone back to the place where all the lights were, and like people have, like, it's a hotel underneath, like it's an actual like cellar, and they do like ghost like talks and like themed meals. So they had all gone back to like the main place where, you know, public would go, and I was left just in this dark, dingy, like no lights, just on my own. It was freezing and there was like noises from above and I was just on my own and I was just like, I think I'm gonna just come back down to the light. And they're like, what are you doing? I was like, I got scared. Like I had to come back. I don't like being on my own. So yeah, it was a little bit terrifying when you were on your own because you genuinely like there was just like little like nooks and like crannies of like just like emptiness. And like because it was so dark, you didn't know how like long it went on for. So it really did feel like you were like being preyed upon and watched, and I didn't like that. When everyone else was around and there was lights, it was fine. But yeah, I got left on my own and I got a bit scared.
I could see that.
I love that story.
Thank you.
That's
I
great.
used it as inspiration.
I was going to say, did you use that as inspiration? There you go.
Some of it, yeah. There's a scene and the light starts flashing and I didn't realize they were going to do it, and the first like initial jump scare was a real one and I was like, oh my god, and they like had to stop filming because I actually like screamed and I was like, what are you doing? They're like, oh yeah, we just thought we'd try it out, but they like tried it out during the actual take and I had no idea. And then they started doing it for the actual thing, and then I had to like obviously remember like what my genuine reaction was once we like redid it. And I think it came out really well. It was like a nice added little atmospheric like thing to it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I spent most of the shoot just trying to scare Meghan, basically.
And covering up fire escape routes.
Yeah,
That took a lot of time.
yeah.
Oh, love that. Okay. And then, you know, I kind of like going off of like the inspiration we were just talking about, like Meghan, how did you kind of prepare for this character? Because a lot of it really like revolves around you and you're alone. There's a lot of scenes where it's no dialogue and you really told the story on your face. Like, how did you prepare for that?
So when it became more of a feature film, and Jamie every now and then would update the script, like literally like 2 days before the shoot, and it was like, okay, that's cool. So then I asked, like, you know, this is like an actual like feature now, like this isn't a proof of concept, we're not just doing one day, like I think I need to do a bit more like, you know, research into the character and to prepare more. So I like messaged him and I was just like, do you have like any like, you know, details on like her background? Like, is there any like something you want to give me to get into like her skin a bit more, like, you know, so I can understand her? And he sent me like some like bullet points of like key parts, and then from there I made a whole like backstory to her. Which I really enjoyed because I like being like creative and like writing about my characters. And then in regards to like the themes of the script, I did loads of like research into religious cults and religion and churches and all that stuff. And I think I got bit into a little bit of a rabbit hole. Like at one point, I think I watched a documentary on Scientology and some other things. And my boyfriend was a little bit like, I think this research is going a bit too far. And I was like, never. It can never go too far. And yeah, I just really got into it. And then, yeah, so I researched on the themes and obviously had to make sure that my reactions were genuinely like believable as possible, because you can't fall back on the dialogue to make the audience understand if something hasn't clicked with them. So yeah, it was like a lot of like really understanding the screen directions of the script, as well as obviously you know, the rest of the film essentially. And it was basically just like, you know, connecting them all together to make sure that, you know, my performance was as genuine as it could be. So yeah, I think I did okay. Obviously when I watched it, I thought I could have done some other things better. But yeah, I think overall I did all right.
Oh, you did great.
Yes, you did. You did great. Now, the lighting in this movie had a couple different hues to it. You know, some of the reddish blues and the yellow hues to the movie. Was that on purpose? And if so, what were the meanings behind those? What were you trying to portray out?
I mean, at first, with when we first started shooting, it wasn't. But then, as we got further into the shooting, I was like, actually, it'd be cool to put some color in it based on where the story was going. And a lot of it was the DOP. A lot of it was sort of like, you know, he'd ask me, you know, what colors should we use, you know, so a lot of it came from him. And then it was just a case of someone sort of mentioned Gallo, the Italian, you know, maker. And then when people kept mentioning Gallo, I kind of took it more extreme, basically, because it was kind of a mixture of me and the DOP really sort of seeing what we could come up with and making different parts of different parts of the location a little different, just so it's not like one color like the whole way through the, you know, the location, to kind of break it up a little bit, you know. But mainly obviously there's some reds in there which obviously are reference to danger, so this is why we put that in. I think green, I mean, there's a whole like chart that I kind of read up about what different colors mean in film, and then like green kind of means, you know, an unhealthy kind of sick sort of vibe. So I kind of read up on what the different colors meant, and just kind of went from there, really.
Oh,
excellent.
Love that attention to detail. And, you know, what were some of the biggest challenges making this? And, you know, as indie filmmakers, you have to be creative sometimes. What were some of the creative things you had to do to, you know, make this movie happen?
Yeah, I mean, obviously budget was going to be an issue from day one.
Sure.
So obviously that's why it took a while to actually finish the film. I think it took like maybe like 7 months or something, 6-7 months or something like that to, you know, the whole kind of shoot. So yeah, obviously budget, you've got to sort of just use what you have, use your resources around you. And there was things with the locations I wanted to do which we couldn't do. I did have like this one idea. They had this dumbwaiter at the kind of mansion that was used. So I had this idea to use the dumbwaiter in there, but the tray wouldn't come out, so it's like stuck in there. So we couldn't really. The idea I wanted to do, we couldn't do. So it's just a case of you know, just coming up with a different option, basically. Just coming up with a plan B, like, you know, spare the moment to make things work.
Sure. Meghan, how about for you? What would you say was most challenging for you?
I'd say probably lack of cast members. As you can tell, I'm 95% on my own. And also using the physical acting and making sure that what I'm meant to be reacting to is real and looks believable. Because there's a scene where I open the door and I'm like meant to like jump back. And there's another scene where I opened the bloody wardrobe doors, and that day was just tragic because everybody was just like, Meghan, honestly, your first take was fine, and I'm like, it wasn't fine. And we did so many takes of me opening those wardrobe doors. So it was just reacting to things that weren't there, and being really like critical on myself, being like, no, I can do that better, and being like, just one more, and then one more turns into like 20 more. So yeah, I'd say that was like the most difficult thing. So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we did a lot of takes on some bits. A lot of takes.
There was one bit where we're in the mansion, and I look through some. I'm not going to give it away for the viewers,
Yeah.
but you will know what I'm on about. I look through something, and we done like a few takes of that, and Jamie was like seriously, like we need to move on. Like there's people actually staying here tonight. Like we can't be too noisy, and we're like in the middle of this like hallway, so anybody can walk up. At one point, one lady did walk up, and they're just filming me. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a film happening." And they're like, "Come in." And then she like, you know, ran up the stairs, and Jamie had gone back into one of the rooms that we were filming in, and Christian was filming that day, and he was like, I was like, "Oh, can I just look at the tape?" And he was like, yeah, sure. I did this a lot, by the way. And I like watched it, and Jamie had gone off literally, I think, for like 5 minutes to go grab some stuff to go back downstairs. And when he came back out, we were doing another shot of the thing that we just like. Jamie was like, yeah, looks great. And he's like, are you doing another one? I was like, yes, I wasn't happy with it. And that happened quite. I think Jamie was probably at that point like, for God's sake, like you just need to stop doing these takes constantly. I think he got annoyed with me at some point, but yeah. I was just trying to be a perfectionist, which isn't possible. But I gave it my hardest go.
Exactly, it's not possible.
Yeah. So, any favorite like on-set memories for you guys?
When we're in the mansion and everybody was on set that day, and I get to meet everybody like in the actual film. That was like one of my favorite days on set, because just everybody was there and everybody was having like such a great time, and it was like the first day really on set that I was acting with people in a scene. Like some days some people would like come in the morning and then they'd go, or they come in the evening then they'd go, but basically throughout the day I was just like acting on my own, like waiting for people to do their scenes and then do mine. So that day was like really fun because I actually got to act with everybody and actually got to like talk to everybody. So that was like my favorite day on set, I think.
Yeah, that was the most stressful day for me.
Yeah, it was. I was also really unwell as well.
Oh.
I don't know what happened. I just got a really bad cough and I had to do this really like intense crying scene. And I'm just like through takes, I'm just sat there on the chair, like coughing like my lungs up. And everyone's like, are you okay? I was like, I just need some more honey and honey tea and I'll be good to go. But yeah,
Well,
it came out well.
Yeah.
Worked well for the scenes. So.
Yeah.
And how about you, Jamie? What was your favorite like on-scene memory or on-set memory?
I mean, the last day was we were in a field, and we wanted like a bit of a sunset in the background. So we were kind of waiting for this sunset. So that was a nice day. It was in the summer. It was warm. It was hot. We were in a field, so it's like we didn't have to be out of a location by a certain time. And it was sort of a relief that it was ending. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun experience, but it's, obviously you just want things to go right, and when the day ends and you just think, oh yeah, nothing went wrong, fantastic.
Yes.
Quite good, because the last shot was basically as the sunset in the background that we got. So we finished the film as the sun was setting. So it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Now, can you tell us, will the Cellar be streaming anywhere, or can our listeners order some physical copies from somewhere? Is any of that in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's deals have been done, so it's going to go into numerous territories. Obviously, it'll be available in America and Canada, and England, Ireland, Korea, through other countries in Europe like Belgium, Holland, all the Scandinavian countries. So yeah, deals have been done with those territories. Probably more going to be added. It hasn't got a release date yet.
Okay.
But people can still get an early screener from the Indiegogo that we set up. So that's still an option to get an early screener before it's officially released.
Excellent.
Awesome. And what's reaction kind of been like so far from people who've seen it? And I'm wondering if anybody had any theories or anything like that. But what's the reaction kind of been like?
Been pretty good, because the reaction is what I sort of wanted in a way, because I didn't want people to really understand it fully.
Yeah.
That was my mum. My mum had so many questions.
Yeah.
I was just like, Mum, seriously, it's just a film. Like,
This is what I wanted people to have questions and to still be trying to work it out, like maybe a week after they've seen the film.
oh, my mum was doing it months after. Literally every time I saw her, she would mention it, and I was just like, please stop.
Good. So yeah, it's been a lot of reaction like that, and people coming up with their own theories, which is nice. But yeah, I'd say 90% good. I mean, obviously you're going to get some people that aren't going to like it, but yeah, the vast majority's been it's been positive. So yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome. And I was curious too, because this movie uses like suspense and tension really well. You know, what do you both think makes a movie scary?
For me, it is the build-up. Even if nothing happens, it's the change in music and the suspense building up to something, and then whether something happens or not. I mean, most of the time I have got a pillow in front of my face, or I've got my hands like that, so I'm only seeing through like my fingers, you know, something like that. So yes, it's the change in tempo of music and the intensity building up to whatever's going to happen. That scares me. It's not the initial jump, it's the build up to it. I don't like the anticipation. That's what makes a film scary for me.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, definitely, like, there's so much in the music. You know, even just listening to a piece of music without seeing any visuals is still terrifying.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, a lot of it is to do with the music, I think, and that build up of, you know, you're expecting something to happen, and you know, you just, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. So you're just sort of waiting for something to,
and then nothing happens.
and then it's like, okay, then what? Yeah, it's just that slow build and that slow music build, and
Definitely. And I think you guys used like the music really, really well in this movie too.
Yeah.
Got the editor to thank for that. So
Yeah.
And like, what other projects do you guys that you can talk about? Do you guys have any other projects coming up?
Yeah, we've both got projects coming up. So I'm doing a film called The R.I.P. Man, which is a slasher mystery.
Love slashers.
Awesome.
Yes.
We've got 5 more days left to film on it, so getting towards the end.
Make sure you let us know when it's out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely. I'm sure the writer will want to come and chat to you at some point, no doubt.
Yes, please.
But I mean, I expect it won't be out for probably about another year or so.
Okay.
But it'll be going to screenings and festivals, I'm sure.
Excellent.
Yeah, so almost done on that one. Meghan's in it as well, briefly.
Yeah, briefly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll do another day, possibly. I think. And yeah, for me, I'm in another horror film. I am the lead again. The film's called Amelia. It is set in like a quaint English town, and I don't want to give it away because it's quite easy to give it away. But I'd say it's more gory. There'll be more jump scares. There'll be more, you know, blood, like a more traditional horror film. Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit mysterious, the same as Jamie's, in the sense of, you know, there's police investigations going on, and some people start, you know, there's murders going on essentially, and they have to figure out, you know, who the culprit is. And yeah, I don't want to give it away too much, but we've got an Indiegogo campaign at the moment. So yeah, check out, and we're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So yeah, check us out there.
Well, make sure that you give us the information so we can link it to our stuff so people can get to the Indiegogo.
Brilliant, I will do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sounds like my kind of movie. I mean, it's bloody, it's gory.
Yeah.
That's right up my alley.
There's suspense. Yeah. I'm running all the social media as well. So yeah.
Excellent.
And I'm a producer on it. It's my first producer credit. So it's
congratulations.
Yeah, it's I think it's like opened up like a new roles for me. Like, you know, I'm starting to think about maybe like writing some stuff. I like horrors. So yeah, maybe, you know, it's given me that little bit of a zest, like something else.
That is awesome. It's lit a fire under you.
Yeah, it's my first producer role. So I'm
going to make sure you get a cut of the profits.
I will. Don't you worry. Every time I get a new role, I'm like, money?
It's important.
Yes,
I'm curious too, you know, what do you guys find like most exciting about like indie horror? You know, what kind of calls you to it?
I think it's just like the creative process and how different they can be. You know, you think of a normal like horror film as like jump scares, you know, blood and gore and all that. But I think indie horror film has like opened up a different way to do it, and it's not as traditional. And I think that's what draws me to it. It can be so different to what you expect it to be. And there's also so many different like genres sometimes, when obviously like with the Cellars there's like sci-fi, which you wouldn't expect in like a horror film. So yeah, I think it's just the creative process and how different they can be to traditional horror films. That's what draws me. And then also obviously working with different people, new people, meeting new people. I always really like that part, even if I'm like really shy at first. But yeah, I think you always get like, you become like a little family sort of, because you really care about the project. And everyone's really lovely. So yeah, they're like my favorite things about indie horrors.
Yeah, I mean, indie horror has its own little community.
Yeah,
it does feel like everyone is one big family.
Yeah.
And because people get like super excited.
Yeah, they do.
Horror films. You tell them you're making like a drama or a romance. Most people will be like, oh, okay, we'll sit back. You tell them you're making a horror film, and they'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah. People get like super excited about indie horror. Yeah, really cool. And yeah, there's like endless possibilities when you're making a horror film. You know, you're not really confined to a certain way. Like with horror, it can be like just it can be like anything.
Love it.
Love that.
So let me ask you this as we start to wrap up. Do you have any advice for anybody who wants to get into the independent horror, either as a producer, director, writer, or as an actor?
I wouldn't necessarily say for a specific genre. I say it's for any genre. It's just keep going, because you don't know what's around the corner. Like, I've had so many times where I've had like loads of jobs coming up, and then you have no jobs, and it literally does feel like, oh my god, like I'm never going to get a job again. And you get told no so many times, and you're just like, what's the point? But I think even if people don't, like, some people don't take it as like a real career, even if it's just a hobby, like, just keep doing it, because it's so much fun, and you'll feel like so like fulfilled. And yeah, I think just continue going no matter what's thrown your way, because something could happen amazingly, even if it's not what you thought it was. You're having fun at the end of the day, and I think you should always do something in your life that makes you feel fulfilled and happy. So yeah, just continue doing it, no matter what it is. If it's short films or not, it doesn't matter. Just keep doing it, and you'll get something out of it. yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd get to this point where I'm doing interviews, you know. That was never like on my, like, even if you told me this like at the beginning of filming The Cellar, I'd be like, absolutely not, like no way will I be doing that. But yeah, I think it surprises you out of nowhere, and it feels amazing. So yeah, just keep doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got to have guts to even start.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
So you know, you have a lot of guts, and you got to. I see actors as being rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going against the social norm in many ways. You got society that keeps telling you this is how you should be living your life. This is what you got to do. Creatives are like I feel a whole different breed, and they're like, they're rebellious. They've got to be rebellious to.
I think you've also got to be a little bit mental to be an actor. Just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. So I'd just say, carry on with who you are. Just be who you are. Don't let anyone try and change you. Just do your thing. Trust in yourself. Trust in the process. And for any filmmakers out there, I'd just say pick up a camera and shoot anything. Just, you can overplan stuff. Things are never going to go to plan. Not exactly how you want them. So just be prepared to change things on a spur of the moment. But as long as you're there with a camera, with people around you, then you can make something happen, basically.
Love that. Well, I'd like to open it up to you guys. Anything else that you wanted to add about yourselves or this great movie?
I mean, it's just nice to be, like I said, be around the whole horror community because, it really is like one big family. And
Agreed.
The more people you've got around you, supporting other people, then the more chance we're all gonna be successful, really, and create.
Absolutely. Meghan, do you have anything else to say?
I would just say that I've really liked the journey of the film and where it's taken me in my career. And yeah, it's obviously lovely to be part of like the horror community family and having all that support and, seeing how successful The Cellar's been. But yeah, I think overall it's just the feeling of pride for the film and for everybody involved. I think that's,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to both of you for taking some time to chat with us and for making this great movie. Really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Good to chat to you. I keep following the podcast and
We appreciate that.
checking what you guys have got going on.
That's right. And let us know when your new stuff comes out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Excellent. We appreciate it. Guys, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie, remember, don't have sex.
Don't do drugs. And definitely don't die.
Don't die. We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.
Best. Bye now.